Okay, Melanie, let's hop right into it. So introduce yourself to this Girl Life community.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here today, guys. But I'm Melanie Kluger. I'm the creator of the Confident Closet. I'm a personal stylist and the author of the Confident Closet, the book. I like to help women feel the best that they could possibly feel through their closet and through their wardrobes. And I live in Northern California, but I'm from New York, as you can
I didn't
probably.
know that.
Yeah. I always feel like you can tell from I like don't realize I have an accent until people like I listen back to my voice and I'm like, oh, that's a New Yorker right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
Um,
picked up a little New Yorker from you.
and then yeah, and I have two kiddos. I'm a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. Yeah,
Well, I just have to tell you, I mean, we've known each other. We're like Instagram friends. We became
totally.
Instagram friends, but I just love you. Like you are a breath of fresh air, like I've said in the intro, and you're so positive on Instagram. You literally just you always light up my feed, you light up my stories, and now with your book, again, you're just bringing so much positivity to women, and I'm so happy to have you on.
Thank
So,
you. That is so sweet, and I feel the same way about you. So it's a mutual
oh,
love.
thank you. Yeah, and
Oh, go ahead.
I'll backstory really quick, which I actually don't even know. So you grew up in New York. Did you go
Yeah.
to NYU? How do you know our mutual friend Sarah somehow or John?
Oh, wait. Oh,
Don't
wait.
you?
Which Sarah do you
Sarah
know?
Brinson? John Brinson?
I don't know them.
I swear
Oh,
Oh,
you.
Sarah Brinson. Oh, yes. So I worked at Juilliard. So I was a costume designer.
Oh,
got it.
okay.
That's what I went to school for, and I worked in New York. And so I know John from.
You know John.
Okay.
Okay.
That's why I was like,
Shout out.
Yeah.
so yeah. So I've never met Sarah, but
Okay.
I
Okay.
was the costume design intern at Juilliard when
Okay.
he was there, and so I
I,
worked with them a lot. Yeah.
I knew. I was like, you know someone we know, like
Yeah.
somehow. So
I know. Almost forgot that connection actually.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I knew there was a connection there.
yeah.
Well,
So
that's awesome.
yeah.
I'm super excited because I'll be honest, I didn't know you until Wit brought you to my attention, and
Yeah.
I started following you and stalking you and reading your book, and it was super inspiring to me. I mean, I have always loved fashion, but I loved hearing it from your point of view, and I think like your whole take on it is super cool. So I kind
Thanks.
of like I really liked your book and how it's about like finding your personal style, and it's really done through the confidence that you have in yourself, which I think is so cool. And so I guess my like to start out, what inspired you to do this? What inspired you to write this book? What what happened to you, or what was like the turning point that you said like I need to write this book? I think it's important to write this book.
Yeah.
What was that for you?
So there's two turning points. So first of all, like I started out as a costume designer and I was working on Broadway tours and different shows and I sort of was noticing like it didn't really matter who you were, whether you were like a famous actress or a student, everyone was kind of really self-conscious and what clothes could do to a person's confidence like on stage.
Yeah.
Like if they liked the costume versus not liking the costume, how they were, and how they portrayed themselves. And then I started working with brides. I was worked in the wedding industry for a while.
Cool.
And
Wow.
really, brides are like, it's that day and
Yes.
everyone's looking at you and everything's heightened. And
Yeah.
so I almost just really became a confidence booster through that too. And
Yeah.
then I just started to realize just this is like a woman thing. Like we are all so self-conscious and it doesn't matter who you are. Like we just sort of are trained over years and years to just sort of we just beat ourselves up a little
We
bit,
do.
especially when we're putting clothes on. And so I was just like, okay, I'm gonna, you know. And then I started working with women in their closets and realizing just like it wasn't just on big days or in theater; it was like all the time. So then I was working with women in their closets for
Can
I've
I
been doing
ask you,
it.
how did you do that? Like, how do you get into someone's closet?
So I just started getting asked to do it. So like
Oh,
Oh, cool.
so, all my training from like
yeah.
costume design and working with brides and all this stuff. And then I started meeting a lot of entrepreneurs who would be like, can you come over and like, I need to have more clothes for this, styled shoot, or I need something for like an event. And then it started being like, well, you're in my closet. And I just started doing it more and more. And then I
Cool.
started offering it as a service.
Nice.
And then I had 2 kids of my own, and I realized that that was my other turning point, is like, okay, my closet is not representing me anymore. It's a different lifestyle. My body's different,
Right.
different sizes, like so many different things. And like, how common is it that you go through all these transitions and changes and your closet doesn't like come with you,
Yeah.
Totally.
So I created this sort of system that worked for me, and then I started doing it with people in their closets, and that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to turn this into a book.
Wow.
Seriously, it literally is like speaking to me because I know the transition. Like I can't tell you how many times I can literally remember every time I've like transitioned my closet into like that next stage of life and what I needed, and it takes time and it's not necessarily easy. So for someone who's in that moment right now, like where do they even start besides buying your book, which is a great guideline?
Right.
But like, where do they start?
So I think that essentially, like before you even go to clean out your closet or you make these changes, it's about like taking a step back and being like, I need clarity. You need clarity and you need knowledge. So like you need the clarity around what is my style now, not like what was my style, not like who I used to be, but like what do I like in this moment, what feels like it represents me. So like head to Pinterest, head to Instagram, like get inspired, create like a board. I always say pick 4 words to describe your style. Really kind of get clear, and you can always veer, but like have fun with it and just be like, this is me. And then the other thing is, I think people who are just starting out, sometimes they're just not confident in their ability to put together an outfit, or like their ability to trust their instincts. Right.
That's me.
Right. So I always say, like, take a second, like, okay, say this week, what is the thing that I'm self-conscious of? Like, I'm self-conscious of, like, I wish I had more knowledge of my hair. Like, you always do your hair really, really nice. But like for some people, they're like, okay, I just don't know how to do my hair. It's like, okay, what if you spent 15 minutes every night this week and watched a YouTube tutorial video and tried it out? And it's not like a ton of time. Or like, what if you don't feel like you know how to put together an outfit? Like, what if you found a few styles you liked on, Facebook or whatever, whoever you're getting inspired from. And then you said, I'm going to spend like 10 minutes in my closet every night before bed and try the outfits on at night. Like not when you're like running out the door.
For sure. That's how I learned. People ask me, you wouldn't believe how many people ask me, how do you do your hair or your makeup? And I tell them every time I learned from YouTube. My mom even tells people, she's like, she taught herself from YouTube videos. Like that is a great place to start for people.
On Instagram, I have an entire folder of just clothes that I like. And when I have a hard time finding what I like, and I literally have just a folder that says clothes. And it's like, okay, I want to, and then I go into my closet and try to find that, so.
That's exactly right. And like just sort of being inspired by it and not overwhelmed by it,
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So in your book, The Confident Closet, it's kind of like a visual workbook with flowcharts, and I've never seen anything like this before. When I was reading through it, I was like, how do I take notes on every page? It's so cool. It's so different. So why did you choose to make it into a workbook? Or what led you to a book format of doing this?
So I think first of all, I'm a visual learner. Like that's how I am. Like I just see things that way. And then also, I think the way that the world is right now, like we're all visual people, like all of these platforms, like social media, like people are less interested in just sitting and reading a page, and more interested in like seeing things quickly and visually. And I think, I wanted it to be easily digestible. And I think sometimes when it's just like pages of words, it's harder in something like this, which is like a process, to take in all the information. So I wanted to create something that was easier to take in chunks too, if you wanted to. And then also like, it was just kind of fun, and I thought we could have fun with it,
Yes. Well, it's a fun process. Like it should be a fun process.
That's like a big thing for me too, is I think people are like, oh, I have to clean out my closet. It's like, but you could also think of it and like have fun with it,
Yeah. No, and that's for me, I get super overwhelmed. I wrote you sent me the book before it even came out when I was purging my closet when I was moving from San Diego, and it is overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it's hard to know where to start, what to do. And I was able to step back and really ask myself these questions, like what makes me feel good? Where like I don't know, it just really helped me evaluate what I was going to keep and what was sentimental to me, which is another aspect of what you go into, because girl, I have some sentimental pieces I could not get rid of.
Right.
I was just talking to someone yesterday who said they were holding on to a shirt that they wore when their boyfriend at the time like did something nice for them. And it's like, because the memory is there, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But like, so she remembers wearing that shirt when like there was like this nice moment between her and her boyfriend. And it's like, that's great. But like the shirt isn't going to make the memory go away and you're not wearing it and you don't like it. So, you know.
I need to take that with me. I mean, I have the shirt I got proposed to. I have a shirt, like I didn't take a lot of photos when I was pregnant, but like this blue ratty tank top. I mean, I'm like, I'm holding on to stuff and I don't even know why.
I'm so glad it was helpful for you.
It was. I was obsessed with that Purge flow sheet.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it literally, I don't know, just the way that you walked through. And again, I am a visual person. So it was super clean and super easy, to read. And so what out of that, I mean, it's not like what's the best tip, but I mean, what is that kind of best advice for you, to start that process when they're purging their closet, when they get to that point of knowing their style, like kind of.
Well, I think that we already talked about how it's important to have fun with it. I think that is like a really great starting point to like be like, I'm going to get my playlist, I'm going to get some snacks, and I'm going to like devote some time to this and have fun with it. Opposed
like Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City.
Yeah. Get your
friends together. Right. Exactly. I love that scene. And then but really also, I think it's important to like, set the stage for yourself. Like, don't rush into it. Don't be like, okay, I'm just going to do this because I'm so frustrated, like taking a minute and being like, I'm going to get my trash bags. I'm going to do this, like slow it down a little bit and be intentional about it. And always ask yourself, how does it make me feel? Not just how does it look on me? How does it make me feel?
Right. Yeah. I think that's hard for me because when I was pregnant, I wanted to purge everything. Mm-hmm. And my husband kind of had to be that intentional voice for me to be like, you're 9 months pregnant. Nothing fits you. Stop throwing everything away. And I think that's a great reminder of what you just said to me. Like, be intentional. Slow it down. Yeah. Really look at why you're purging, not just because it's a mood or a rash decision to do so. But I like that of like being intentional about what you're doing. I
mean, it's so hard when you're pregnant too, because your body, all of a sudden you're like showing different parts of your body off, and you're self-conscious about other things, and your lifestyle is different. It's just like all so different when you're pregnant, and then right after you're pregnant too. It's like, I don't think that's the time to donate all your clothes.
No. I'm going to go a little bit off like questions and topic, but what do you think of capsule closets?
Okay. So capsule wardrobes
or capsule wardrobe. Yeah.
So I think they're great for certain people who like, really like versatility and like having less things, like who are struggling with decision fatigue, like sometimes if it's like too many choices and then you're just like, pick the state. A lot of people only wear like 20% of their closet. So you're kind of wearing a capsule wardrobe, but sometimes I think it can go the wrong way, because if you're like stressing out, like I can only have 33 pieces or whatever it is, a lot of times they like give you like really strict parameters. I'm like, have a few extra pieces,
Right.
But I think it really depends on who you are, you know?
Yeah, that is what, because for me, I don't know what it is, like the height. And I always seem to blame my height, but like I can't get rid of like jeans. I mean, I literally have jeans that I've had for years because it's like they just don't fit the right way. So for me, I'm like, good for you, but I don't think it works for everybody.
I don't think it works for everybody. I think, with all of there's like definitely a movement right now, like minimalism and like less And like with all of that, I think the capsule wardrobe kind of fits in that world and is like, it's like people just like the idea of being able to go into their closet and feel great about it and like have fun with, you know. So for me, it's like you can clean out your closet and have that same feeling as you do with a capsule if you're really intentional and you know what you like. You like everything you have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for like, I needed to
Yeah.
You
talk
don't
about
have to
that.
do it. You don't have to do it if you don't want
No, I can't get there.
Yeah.
I just can't get there.
So one thing you talked about in your book, which I want you to kind of take the lead on this one. So you talk about the 5 shapes of women and how we all have shapes. I mean, that's a thing. But how do you translate that, I guess? Your view is so positive. And so I'm just interested to hear what your take on women and the shapes and like all 3 of us just sitting here.
I'm inverted triangle. I think I'm inverted triangle.
But yeah, like we all have such different shapes. So I'm kind of interested to hear what your take on that whole like.
So first I wanted to say like throughout the book, you'll see a pattern. That pattern is the 5 shapes of the women that like.
Really?
Yeah. So I thought that was
so
like a sweet little.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But so I think for me it's like, I wanted to include it in the book because I wanted to give tangible advice, you know, like, okay, like but I also don't want people to focus so heavily on it because you may be an inverted triangle, but you may also not be a classic inverted triangle and something that maybe won't look, you know, you may not think looks good on you does. So I think it's like, it's good to take the guidelines. And then if you feel good in something that's not, you know, actually
for your body type.
Exactly. Like who cares, you know?
Yes.
So I'm like, take them for what they are and then like run with it and trust yourself, you know, and don't say like, well, this can't possibly, like, for example, I have larger breasts. And so V-necks and sweetheart necklines, like those things look better on me than like a high neck, but like I'll rock a high neck because I still feel good in it, you know?
Yes.
So sometimes you gotta just like take it for what it is. And if you still feel good, like let it go.
You're rocking one right now and you look great.
Exactly. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
You're rocking overalls, right? Are you in overalls?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I swear I've seen on your stories, you talk about overalls.
Me too.
Can you like create a pair of tall overalls that will look good on me? I cannot find like.
Have you tried the Madewell ones?
She fits in them. Girl, if you saw me in person, my legs are way beyond what people think they are.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm going to look into it for you because I know that there are some that are taller. I'll reach out. I'll try to find some for you. But I do think also, so this is what I was going to say about the shapes when we're talking about body positivity. It's so hard to not blame our bodies when the clothes don't fit. And I'm always like, these overalls were not meant for you, but it's nothing your legs did, you know, like it's like, but it's so hard because so often we're like, oh, if my hips were just a little bit different, then this would look so good. And it's like so hard to not go into that place. And so I'm always like trying to just remind people just to like talk kindly and remember that it's the clothes' fault. You know, it's the person, whoever the fit model was for those overalls was not you, you know, it's not like.
Exactly. Well, I think I'm all about body positivity because I struggled for so much of my life with not feeling positive about my body, feeling bigger than I really was. And I think you come at it from such a different angle. And it's something, and that's why I honestly feel like people need to go out and get your book because it's just thinking of it different. It's not just hearing from like I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just a different way of viewing it.
Yeah.
And it's a different way of giving yourself that positivity about your body.
Do you know what's been really interesting is a lot of like teenagers and like 15-year-olds have been reading the book. And it's not who I like wrote the book for, really. But it's because it's easy to digest and because that age is so self-conscious and so, you know, coming into their own and like learning about their style and their body. It's been such like a sweet thing to like hear like 15-year-olds say that it helped them with body positivity, you know? So I feel like the way that I approach it is like, it feels approachable to them, you know?
Yeah. And it is.
Nice. Yeah, it is.
It's an approachable, it is the photography and it's gorgeous. Like everything about it is very clean and just easy to read and easy to digest.
I feel like you just spoke to me though when you said stop, like to Whitney, like don't blame your legs. It's the
Yeah.
clothes.
Yeah.
Because so often I'll go into some store and I'm like, I want to wear that. And then I get discouraged because my body doesn't fit that, you know?
Oh my gosh, me
especially
too.
postpartum now. Like, why doesn't my body? And like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's such a good reminder of what you just said. And it was like such a little nugget that I just loved. But like, it wasn't built for my legs right now, or it wasn't built for my waist or my postpartum belly, and I think that's like so important, like to not blame your body.
It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you.
Right.
You know?
It means I just have to find a different pair of jeans that fit this body.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
That's what it is.
Yes. Yeah. And I think also like, okay, so I like see other women that like look amazing and like a bohemian, like flowy, you know, style. And it just, when I put that on, I love it on other people. And I'm like, oh, like I wish, and then I put it on me and I'm like, you know what, this doesn't feel like me and it's not flattering on me. And it's like being okay with that, like seeing someone else and being like, this looks so good on you. Like, and it's not for me and I can love it on someone else.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. And also, I mean, again, gosh, I feel like we're total. I like feel like I'm down bunny trails. But I will say on Instagram, it's so easy. I think a lot of our listeners can relate to these bloggers or people you follow who you're close to. And you're like, God, I love their style or even their Instagram look, like what they bring, because there's styles within that. And then you try to copy it and you're like, because I know I've been at that point where I'm like, oh, I love that vibe. That makes me feel so good. But it's like, I look at it. I'm like, that is not me. Like, I love black and I love, like, I know my style. I'm just not.
Yeah.
So I think so many of us fall into that now in this visual day and age. And that's, again, why it's like, you know, buy the Confident Closet, find your style.
Yeah.
Find who you are.
Appreciate the beauty and what other people can pull off and what other people can wear and learn to find it in yourself.
And I think that people often with influencers or like people on Instagram that they like really like their style, sometimes it's like they like their vibe or they like their ease of whatever it is that and it's like you can kind of be inspired by that and not copy it, you know? Like you could say like, oh, I like love her vibe, but I wouldn't wear that thing, but how can I translate that to my own style and like kind of use it as inspiration and not like a cheat sheet, you know?
Yes, exactly. No, I know. Thank you for, again, dealing with my bunny trails.
I love it.
You're like walking us through a therapy session.
I know.
It is. You are speaking to me.
But that's, I think people just like don't realize like what clothing can be for you, you know, and like how it can really help you express yourself in the world and having like a real knowledge of that, like what that does for us when every other aspect of our life, you know?
Yeah. What are you loving right now? What piece are you loving right now?
Well, you know, I'm really big into my overalls.
Yes. And blazers. I know you love your blazers.
Totally. I'm into anything that's comfortable as a mom, especially comfortable and stylish. So if I can be in something that like I feel put together in, but I'm also like comfortable, is like that's like my sweet spot. Like
Can we talk about how you pull off a great lip?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. So I talk about these like easy go-tos. And like for me, a bold lip is like the easiest way. I could wear like no makeup, roll out of bed, put on a bold lip and feel good when I leave the house. Like everyone has their thing. And knowing that one thing is like such an easy go-to for like a confidence boost, you know? So for me, it's a lip, but thank you very much.
You rock it well, girl.
Yes, for sure. Okay. Back into something I wanted to discuss really quick because we have to talk about Marie Kondo. I never say her last name right. Kristen always has to correct me. Yeah. Kondo. Okay. You know, she's all about clean and closet, and I watched some of her Netflix, you know, not even documentary show.
Yeah. She's sweeping the nation, I
know. She is. But so do you believe in her method of just purging everything that doesn't spark that joy in your life?
And thanking the dirty socks in your closet and sending them on their way.
So, okay, it's so funny because, well, first of all, when her book came out, it was like a really big thing and everyone was into it. And then it kind of like quieted a little bit. And now I feel like it's reaching a whole different audience who maybe wouldn't read the book, but is like watching the show. And I have obviously a lot to say about it. But essentially, I love the idea of things sparking joy. I just think there are more questions. And so, especially with your closet, like maybe not with books, maybe you can just say yes, no to books, but something can spark joy in your closet and you haven't worn it in 10 years.
Right.
So, to me, it's like, especially in the show, and I'm sure she helps them more. And she's so sweet and cute and calm. And I think she's a good energy to have around,
Yeah.
She's like so sweet. But
Yes.
I think that when they're doing the closet part of the episodes, I'm like, just answer a few more questions for them, like before you leave them,
Yeah.
because people don't always know. Like, I think it's important to try a lot of things on, like not just say like,
Yes.
does this spark joy? Like, when was the last time you tried it on? Like, how do you know if it sparks joy if you didn't try it on? And
Right.
sometimes, sentimental, like we were talking about sentimental pieces. So I just think there's a few more questions to ask yourself, besides does it spark joy?
Definitely.
So that's really my I really could probably talk for a very long time about it because I just feel like I'm so happy that people are motivated.
Sure. Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm such like a mama bear. I'm like, I'm just nervous that you're jumping into it and you're like, but I think what's going to happen is that people are going to realize that they cleaned out their closet and that they still aren't wearing all their clothes, or that, so I think then they just have to find me, hopefully. And
Did
I'll
you hear
help them.
that Goodwill is having they can't keep up
I
with the
know.
amount of things that they're getting donated because of this huge rush of, I mean, she timed it perfectly. We have to give her that. Beginning of the year,
I know.
motivation of a new year, new you, clean closet, all this stuff. But yeah, I read an article that Goodwill literally is like, please stop. Like, we are running out of room. You're donating.
gosh.
And that's the other reason I wrote the book, is because I feel like people really are ready for it. They want to do it. They want some guidance with it. So, but I just think some people, you got to ask the right questions. Otherwise, you're keeping pieces that you won't wear and you're getting rid of pieces that maybe you do. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
And just to plug really quick, I love in your book how at the end you talked about other places to donate, which I think is really important. I mean, for me, I hate to say Goodwill's my go-to because it's right down the street. I don't even have to get in my car. They pull it out of my car. But I loved the idea of different places that can actually benefit from the clothes versus just putting it in a place where they can resell it for cheap. I really like that. So just a shout out. I thought that was cool.
Oh, thanks. Some people have a harder time getting rid of things. So knowing that it's going to go to a woman trying to get a job, or and some people also if they're getting some money back for it, like a consignment store, they have an easier time because they spent money on it. Also, clothing swaps are really awesome if you're all around the same size and you can change clothes, because then you're not wearing it, but someone else can, and then you feel good because you're oh, they're wearing that thing that they love it.
Very Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Yeah. Looks like I'm going to Whitney's closet after this to pick through some stuff.
Good luck fitting into those pants. They'll be very long. Oh my goodness. Okay. Seriously, I've loved our conversation. Just, again, so positive, so bright, so happy. So give us a scoop where we can find you. Oh, wait, you know what? Before we do that, I have to ask. I literally have to ask. What is the best piece of advice or one tip from your best friend? We ask all of our guests this. What is that one piece? It could be style related, whatever.
Okay, so I love this question, and I'm going to be a real dork with it, but I consider my grandma to be one of my best friends.
That's awesome.
And I take her advice very seriously because she's such a classy lady, and she gave me this advice, and I think it's hilarious and also really true, which is there are two things you should never share. Eye makeup and pills.
That's true. Yes. Yes,
Oh,
Grandma.
Right. You know what? She's not wrong. She's not wrong.
She's not wrong.
She's spot on as a nurse. Girls, don't share your pills.
Don't share your pills. And
Gosh.
and don't share your eye makeup.
It's dirty.
It's dirty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Gosh, that's amazing.
That's the best advice.
Yeah.
Seriously. Okay. Well, give us the scoop now on where we can find you.
Stalk you.
Yes. Stalk you.
Yeah, so I'm Melanie Kluger on Instagram, and my website is theconfidentcloset.com, and that's the same name of the book on Amazon, The Confident Closet. And on Facebook, it's The Confident Closet with Melanie. It's all, if you can find me, if you type in Melanie Kluger, The Confident Closet, I'm everywhere.
And like we do every time, guys, so we will link everything about Melanie on our Instagram, on our descriptions, on all of that stuff, you can find her and stalk her, and we will make sure to give all of the details.
Yes. So thank you so much for coming on, Melanie. We loved having you. And I know our listeners are just going to like eat this up.
Yeah. You're going to have a whole new group of best friends after this.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Well, thank you so much, Melanie. We really appreciate your time, and we'll chat soon.
Thanks for having me.